Actors, we've all got issues, so let's talk about them. You're listening to Actors with Issues, a self-help podcast for actors, by actors. Hello, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends. Welcome back to another episode of Actors with Issues, the self-help podcast for actors, by actors. Featuring special guests from TV, film, and Broadway, we take a deep dive into the world of entertainment and discuss what it means to be an actor today. I'm your host, Juan Ayala, and today I am joined by an actor who has worked on Turner and Hooch, Firefly Lane, Wildcard, So Help Me Todd, the worldwide Netflix sensation Avatar, The Last Airbender, and for the last 3 seasons of Family Law as Winston Verdad. Ryan Lino, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to do this.
So, born in the Philippines and then moved to Canada, where you've been based for most of or all of your life since moving, correct?
Yeah, I think I've been here. Yeah, I grew up in Vancouver for most of my life. And yeah, I've been here since I was like 8 years old. So definitely a big part of my childhood and my upbringing has been in Vancouver. So I'm a proud Filipino, but also a proud Vancouverite as well.
Yeah. Talk about sort of like the early years. Where did the love of performing begin with a Filipino best friend? I know like performing karaoke is a big part of the culture and things like that, but was it sort of similar for you, or did it sort of sneak in some other way?
It's funny that you say that because when you prompted that question, I was about to say like, I think performing is just baked into the Filipino DNA naturally. And I think it's because we are such a communal culture. Like that's a big part of how we share our feelings and celebrate life is really just, enjoying life and communicating through song and dance. And so I've always been very envious of other actors who can really pinpoint that like come to Jesus moment of being an actor. But if I could think of the moment where that spark or love for performing came from, it was probably when I was like 5 years old. I was in prep school and we were all assigned like a Filipino historical figure to perform, and I was assigned Jose Rizal, who's the Philippine national hero, and we had to give this monologue. And I remember I was the smallest of the class. I was a little shy, but for some reason being on stage when I performed that monologue, there's a home video of it actually that I saw pretty recently, and I was really giving it my all. And I just remember really loving being on stage and kind of loving that experience and that interaction with the audience. And I think from then on, I was kind of like, I can do this. I think I enjoy performing and being another character. And yeah, it was a very interesting kind of moment that it's still in my head. I was so young, but it's still something I really remember clearly.
Yeah, I feel like especially as kids, they call it like getting bitten by the acting bug. They call it that for a reason because it is like
Exactly.
just something that spreads through you. It's like a virus. It's like that's why they call it that. It's like, it's like I don't know what it is. Like as a kid, you hear that response, you either make the audience laugh or it's just something about that sort of connection with an audience. Because when you're rehearsing it, your classmates or whoever have heard you say that line a gazillion times already in rehearsal. So you don't get that laugh or that reaction until it's like the first time you're performing it. And yeah, it's like I feel like everyone when they have that moment as a kid, they remember it so vividly because it's like something you still seek, and even on set, you might not get a laugh on set because it'll ruin the take, but
No,
like
totally. And
theater,
I think that is why, like you said, theater, like I think that's a big reason why theater, there is that like magic there because you have that interaction with the audience. That's something I've always appreciated about being on stage is you can't emulate that anywhere else. And yeah, I'm sure you feel the same way whenever you're performing. And yeah, there's just this natural chemistry that you have with the people around you and also just the people watching. It's like an energy that you can't explain. So it's a really beautiful thing, but also terrifying a lot of the time. But
especially when it's supposed to be a big laugh and there isn't one, or something like that. You're like, oh, that joke didn't land the way we wanted.
No, totally. And it's funny because now that we mentioned like being a Filipino and like performing, I know every Filipino kid can relate to this, where there's that trauma of going to a Christmas party and being forced by your parents to like sing in front of your aunts and uncles. And I remember that being such like a core experience as a Filipino kid. And yeah, just like having those terrifying like stage experiences as well as a big formative experience as an actor also.
And between then and now, has there been like another career on your radar that you considered or explored, or was it really just like, no, I'm going to focus on acting and just focus on this discipline and keep going there?
I think I've always knew I wanted to be in the film industry in some capacity. I've loved watching films like ever since I was a kid with my parents. That was like a big ritual thing that we had with our family was every weekend we would watch movies. And I knew I wanted to be part of the industry in some way. And I think growing up, I think a lot of people who grow up in Asian families can relate to this, where it is almost scary and there is a sense of shame to admit you want to be an artist and label yourself as an actor. And maybe you can relate to that as well. It's like a scary thing to talk about is it's you're almost embarrassed to say that you want to be an actor. And so I think I danced around that idea and that I knew that was what my passion really was. But I had to think of backup ways to kind of, okay, what's a job in the film industry that I can do, but still come across as someone who has like a regular 9 to 5 or whatever. It's something more stable, I guess. And so I did explore that avenue. I went to school for film production and thought maybe I could look into the behind the scenes side of film and see what I could do there. I was interested in film editing for a while. And there was even a point in my life where maybe I considered law school, like going to law school, and I did a poli sci degree. But it was pretty clear deep down that acting was the only way. Like for me, like that was the only way I was going to be able to survive creatively and like emotionally and mentally. So yeah, it would. When people ask me if there's an alternate job I can do, I honestly don't have an answer to give because I feel like it's like I'd rather not do anything aside from being an actor.
Yeah. I feel like, and you know, like, but as the kids of immigrants and whatnot, I feel like they want so much for us to have a better. I mean, that's every parent too. No parent. I mean, well, maybe there's some messed up parents out there who want their kids to be worse than that than they were, but for the
I
most
hope
part,
not,
you
but
know, right? But you know, for the most part, it's parents want their kids to have a better life to build off of what they did, and when you know, you tell them, I want to go into a career full of uncertainty and constant guesswork. They're like, why? And you know, there is no. Sadly, this industry is not a meritocracy. It doesn't always go to the most hardworking or most talented person. There's no job waiting for you at the end of a BFA program. You know, where it's like, okay, I'm here to sign up for a job. It's not like, you know,
no,
the
absolutely.
past
Like I feel
generations. Yeah.
like if I ever had the blessing of becoming a parent in the future, yeah, I don't know if I would want them to like it is such a wild experience to be an actor and an artist and I totally understand from their perspective why it would be challenging to navigate that as a parent because like you said you want the best for your kids you want stability you want just the assurance that they'll be okay and the acting journey is like never it's not a up sort of trajectory, right? It's up
Yeah.
and down. Sometimes you won't work for years and that's kind of just part of the game and part of the life that you choose as an actor. So I totally get it. It's a hard balance to like juggle.
Yeah. An actor that we had on the show recently, it hasn't come out yet. It will soon because
Ooh,
um,
spoiler alert.
but they have a film coming out this later this month, and they similarly were like, you know, they said it's like weird doing press for a film that they did. It's an indie film, so they did it like 2 or 3 years ago, and they're like, and I haven't booked anything since then, so it's weird doing promoting something that it's like, you know, and I myself, I have been very open about it. I haven't been on a set since 2021. It was like right at the beginning of, you know, I don't think vaccinations were even out yet. I remember having to take COVID tests and you had to like be cleared to work. Otherwise you had to be recast, which was like so nerve-wracking. But uh yeah, it's just, you know, journalism and podcasting and whatnot has sort of been my fallback. Thankfully it's still entertainment like adjacent. So I still
Totally.
get to talk shop with people, but yeah, it's just there's so much guesswork and uncertainty, and it's like sometimes it's hard to navigate those lulls in between. So how would you say that, like, you know, but between seasons are, I'm actually curious, we'll put that question on the back burner for now. But I'm curious with being a series regular, just contractually, are you allowed to do other projects like in between seasons? Because you guys have pretty brief seasons. So I'm curious about like the gap in between. Are you allowed to do other work, or are you sort of just on standby?
Yeah, for me personally, I have pretty free reign after the show ends, because I contractually I'm not one of the four, or I think there's five of main like core cast that I think they have a built-in contract where they have certain stipulations that don't allow them to take work.
Yeah, like
Like I am,
exclusivity, whatnot.
yeah, exactly, yeah, like kind of that type of contract. So my contract, like, more, I'm in every episode of the season, but uh, it's more of like an hourly sort of contract where you get paid depending on the day that you work. And so, yeah, I have pretty free reign of just auditioning and kind of taking jobs I get there. And yeah, I think I'm in a position too where after every season ends, I'm always like, "Ah, I need to book something because I don't know when the next thing I'm gonna. It is that scarcity mindset, right?
Yeah.
It's very anxiety inducing, but I think every actor is always like that. You, regardless of whether you're working or not, you're thinking of the next thing that you can book because you are always fearful that this is the last thing you're ever going to work on.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a weird experience. But I think I read in a book recently that my friends and I were going through, where being an artist is one of the jobs or careers where while you're not necessarily working consistently per se, you actually don't get to turn off being an artist, because when
Yeah.
you're living your everyday life, you're ingesting and taking in different aspects of nature and different aspects of your relationships that you can help to inform your work as an actor or as an artist. And so that's something that really like gave me a lot of perspective, so that I don't base a lot of my happiness or my worth in the tangible successes or the tangible bookings. It's really, I'm an actor 24/7, and that's something I just have to learn to really live out consistently.
Yeah. I forget who I was talking with about it, but it's sort of like, the greatest, because when actors, especially like when they're like really young, like maybe like still in school or like fresh out of school, there's that mindset of like I have to give like 110% of my energy toward like just acting. And it's like, okay, but if you don't go out and live life, how are you going to grow as a person? Because, like go travel, see people, try new things, and not for the sake of putting it on your resume as a special skill, but like just go learn it so that you can have that sort of as part of your like tool belt and lived experience and whatnot. Like, just doing stuff is like an actor's like best research, because you never
Totally.
know what a character is going to need to do in the future, some future role. Um, yeah,
Yeah, a lot
it's
of
a
coaches always say like just yeah, just go travel, take up new hobbies, because
yeah,
all of
people
that is
watch.
useful.
Like,
Yeah, exactly. People watch, yeah,
yeah,
observe people, and that'll all be good for your tool belt as an actor. So
yeah. And with Family Law, you again, as we said, you've been on the show for since season two, and you
yeah.
guys are done with four now. Um, Having been on the show for so long now, season two, when did you guys film? Because I feel like I recall you joined before it started airing,
Yeah, it was
something like that. Yeah.
it's actually a while back now. I think 2021 was when I first booked the
Mhm.
role. And yeah, they didn't start airing the show till later that year, I believe, the first season. And so yeah, it's been a while. It's been a huge journey, and but honestly the biggest blessing in my acting career so far, because yeah, it's always interesting being the new kid on set. You feel a little self-conscious about whether you're going to fit in. And I was worried for like a couple seconds, and then eventually when I met them, like I didn't have to worry about that anymore, because they were the warmest and most generous and welcoming group of people. I remember they all like welcomed me like with literal open arms, like hugging me. And yeah, that entire cast and crew, I have nothing but great things to say about each and every one of them, because yeah, I think I learned so much being on that set. I mean, from we just finished filming season 4 last year, and yeah, just within that time period of being on that show, I feel like I gained a lot of confidence as an actor, but also really appreciated and took note of people who have been in the industry for so long and the kindness that they would show the people around them and the other people on set. And, kind of putting that in my head and thinking like, this is how you properly treat other people in the industry, because it is a very interesting experience being on a film set. You hear the horror stories from time to time, but I think you really saw that the people there all genuinely cared about their craft, but also still cared about the people around them. And that's something I'm gonna forever take with me when I go to another set. And yeah, so it was almost like a school for me. Like being on Family Law
Yeah.
was almost like going to acting school in many ways.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like once you're on set, like on a set semi regularly where you sort of like build a bit of a camaraderie with people, it's like, oh, this is kind of just like summer camp. Like, oh, we're back. Hi everyone. Remember me? Uh
Exactly.
and I'm curious if like because I interviewed Eddie Liu, who's on Kung Fu on the
Oh,
CW
nice.
for a few seasons. He was, I think, he was our 100th guest, and that feels like forever ago because we're close to like 250 now, which is years ago. Um, but he was saying that after season one, they filmed the first season, and then there was the break in between, and he kind of just like relaxed and whatnot, and what didn't take any other work. And then season two came around, and it was like the first year on season two, and he was like, "Oh man, I think I forgot how to act." Or like he's like, "I forgot about this character." He's like, "What did he do? What was he like?" Because it had been so long. So I'm curious for you, like, does it sort of all just like snap back into place, like riding a bicycle when you come back for a new season, or do you feel that it maybe takes like a couple takes to be like, "Okay, he's back, we're here, like we found him."
I think I definitely experienced both facets of that. So it's good that Winston, like, I feel like he's definitely, his essence is buried deep inside me somewhere. Like, we have a lot of differences, but we also have a lot of similarities. So
Mhm.
I feel like I can relate to him as a character quite easily. So that part isn't too challenging. But I do agree that even now, when I book a different role or go to a different set, you always feel like you're on edge because you don't know whether you're gonna mess up. You're almost, because you're always kind of just wary of everything, and because it is such an inconsistent career, like you do kind of never feel like you're always like settled. So I think that's the same for being on the show. Like I think we come back and it'll take a couple of days till you finally get back into the groove. But I think it never felt like work. It always felt like a lot of fun because of the fact that we had such good relationships on set.
Mhm.
And so that helped a lot to kind of calm the nerves a bit and kind of break the tension. So you're not, even if you do feel awkward, it's okay because, you're with your friends. Like it's not a big deal. Like we're just having fun. So I think that helped out a lot.
Mhm. And we're coming close to the end of our time already, which is crazy. I feel like we just started talking.
Oh.
But we wanted to talk a bit about sort of like collaboration and whatnot, especially when it comes to working with folks within our community and whatnot. So, what sort of experiences have you had with that, and what sort of maybe on the horizon for you? Do you want to eventually like maybe direct, write, produce some of your own work?
No, it's great that you asked that because this past year, I've actually been very fortunate to really explore that aspect because I was part of this short film called Three Actors in a Wedding, which is a Filipino short film, all Filipino cast and predominantly Filipino crew. And that's in the festival circuit now. So we recently just did one of the Los Angeles Asian film festivals. So that was really
Mm,
exciting. And that experience really reminded me the importance of relating with other people who kind of understand that similar experience as you as a Filipino creative. You can only really harp on the industry for so long in terms of lack of opportunities or just frustration with not being represented. And I think that's something I had to really humble myself and learn, is that I would be a hypocrite if I didn't do what I can as an artist to help incite that change and actually help with
mm,
the progress of our community being represented. And so I really learned a lot on that set and learned from the people that I met there, because being around other Filipino creatives, you really have this camaraderie that's special, where you all get what it's like, uh, the struggles, but also the joy of being a Filipino, and
Mhm.
being able to show that in our work. And so that's something I hope to really explore further as I get into my career, is just being able to create work that really speaks true to the Filipino experience. And I've always wanted to explore writing, so I think that's something that, if anything, that would be the other thing I would kind of look into, is to collaborate with other writers and other
Mhm.
artists who have stories to tell, and seeing how we can make it as authentic and as unapologetically Filipino as possible.
And before we go, we always like to end with a game. So we have
Ooh,
a
I
couple
love
options.
games.
We've got multiple. So pick a number, one, two, or three, and that'll be the game we play.
Ooh, okay, let's do three.
Okay. Three is called "It's Time for Life's Big Questions."
Okay.
So first one, if you could have any superpower, which would you choose?
Probably teleportation, because I love traveling.
I feel like that's the most common answer, and that's the
I
best.
know, very
Sorry,
basic,
that's the
I
right
know.
answer. No, but it's the right answer.
No, no, it's true.
Especially as actors, you can go anywhere.
Exactly. Won't be late.
Right. Um, what is your go-to karaoke or audition song?
Ooh, go to karaoke song for sure. Whole New World from Aladdin. Another basic answer, but I love a duet. So
Yeah. Plus, everyone can join in. It's nice when you do a song, everyone
exactly,
can sing along.
exactly.
When you do like some obscure indie song, it's like, what is this? You know?
Yeah, no, I'm all about, like, as a Filipino, communal experience.
Yeah.
Bring everyone in.
What director are you dying to work with?
Ooh. Um, so there's these two artists, Danny and Michael Philippou. I don't know if I'm pronouncing their names
Oh, yeah,
properly,
yeah.
but they're like horror. Yeah, they did Talk to Me and
Yeah.
Bring Her Back, and I'm a huge horror junkie, and so watching those two films, I think, really incited something like inside of me, where it's like, I wanna do this.
Yeah.
So, like, some sort of horror film. That's like what I'm trying to manifest soon, is horror film.
Yeah. What is your ultimate comfort food?
Oh, that's hard. I love to eat everything, but I'll say anything deep fried. So, like, tempura, or
Mhm.
like, I love, actually, okay. I'll say shrimp. So people who know me very well know I have an obsession with shrimp, like a weird obsession. So I'll say shrimp specifically.
Yeah.
And you can ask me about that another time, but
After a long week of filming, what do you do to unwind and recover?
ooh, probably eat out at a restaurant. I think it's weird. Other than acting, I think eating is my other personality trait. And Vancouver is such a good food scene, so I'm
Uh,
always hitting up any new restaurant in Vancouver.
yeah. Looking for the best shrimp platter.
Exactly, exactly. See, you know me so well.
What real life historical figure would you want to portray in a biopic?
Ooh, probably Jose Rizal, which is, I mean, tying it back to what I mentioned
Mhm.
earlier today, where, yeah, since I got to play him when I was like 5 years old, that would be a pretty cool pinch me moment to be able to actually play him in a film. So, yeah.
What existing TV show would you like to join the cast of, and in what kind of role?
Ooh, I feel like this is also a very basic answer, because every actor wants to do this, but probably The White Lotus, just because I love traveling,
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
I think I also love comedy, and like dark comedy specifically. So that would be a really fun script to navigate. And yeah, the writing is awesome. So, like,
Mm.
anything, honestly, I'll play anything there, or even like the person who dies, like a dead body. I'll do anything in that, just to work with Mike White and that entire group of people. I think would be sick.
Yeah. You're hosting a dinner party, and you can invite any three actors to join you. Who are you inviting?
Okay, I'll invite Manny Jacinto, because he's a fellow
Yes. Yeah.
Filipino Richmondite, Vancouverite. So, him, he's an icon in this town. So I would love to chat with him about being a Filipino actor. Dolly De Leon as well, another incredible Filipino artist. Her work in Triangle of Sadness is amazing.
Mhm.
And Steven Yeun, probably one of my favorite actors today. Like, his performance in Beef is like something that I still like think about constantly. And yeah, I think he's, yeah, one of my favorite actors for sure.
Yeah. In 10 words or less, what advice would you give to a young actor?
Oh, 5 things you need: patience, resilience, humility, joy, and kindness.
Awesome. I love that. It's like the five
Thank-
virtues of being an actor.
I know. It's like preaching the word.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Actors with Issues is hosted and produced by Juan Ayala. If you enjoyed today's episode, subscribe to our YouTube channel or on the podcast platform you're listening to. Visit actorswithissues.com for exclusive news and reviews, and give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok at Actors with Issues.